Today, I'm in a big hurry and I want to get done with 2 quilts. 2 quilts. 2 super duper quick, fast, easy, beautiful quilts. Stay tuned and I'll show you how they're made. Hi everybody, it is April and I'm in my craft room. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a quilt with bandanas. Now I do have an upcoming video on how I use bandanas to make a quilt. That quilt is a little more labor intensive than the one I'm going to make today. Today I'm going to take my leftover bandanas, I am going to open them up, trim them down, and sew them together. And once I do that, this is what I'm going to get. And here is my 60 by 80 quilt top. Now I just took 99-cent bandanas, and actually like this one and this one and this one, and I think even that one, they were only 49 cents. So let's just say I spent $12 on this quilt top. Now what I'm going to do is, instead of going to my long arm, I am going to quilt this quilt on my embroidery machine. So let's find a backing for it and then let's make a quilt sandwich. I went through my stash and this is the backing I'm going to use. It is a batik, and you know, I don't even know where I got it. All I know is it's gonna look great on the back of these bandanas. The first thing I need to do before I can make my quilt sandwich is I need to take this 44-inch fabric, it's gonna be between 40 and 44 inches wide, and I need to fold it in half because I want to sew a selvage edge to a selvage edge. So get it? So I am unfolding the whole thing. I'm going to be matching the selvage edges together, not in the way that you normally would. And at the end, I have the fold. So I'm going to sew all along this edge. And magically, this 40 to 44 inch fabric is going to work on the back of my quilt. So here I have sewn all the way down this side. Now I've got this problem. What am I going to do with that side sewn? But there's nothing I can do with this side. Yes, there is. Scissors in hand. I'm going to cut off my leader, which wasn't really a leader. And then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut along that edge. Now when I open this up, I have a huge backing. I may have a big enough backing for 2 quilts. All right, let's go make a quilt sandwich. Anybody hungry? Believe it or not, I have cleared off my table. Now, I have my backing laid out on my table, and it has some wrinkles. But I have found the secret to getting wrinkles out without ironing. It is called Wrinkle Releaser. Downey came up with it originally, but the Dollar General has also come up with their version. And according to a previous boss of mine, their version works even better. So I am spraying some wrinkle releaser and then just working out these extra wrinkles. The first thing I want to do is lay the quilt out so that I can figure out exactly how wide I need to cut my fabric. Oh yeah, well, I have enough. Let's put it that way. All right, so now I'm going to kind of roll this up so that I can figure out where I want to cut my backing so I don't have to deal with all this excess. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this down. I'm going to make sure that I have plenty. Because I don't want to mess up and not have enough. All right, so let's roll this puppy. There we go. Straighten this out. This is probably way more than necessary, but that's okay. All right. So this is how much I have left over. Not a whole lot. Now I need to add my batting. Maxine is helping me, and I'm using air quotes, cut out my batting. So I have approximately 65 inches of batting because I want my batting to be wider than my quilt top. The first thing I need to do is remove my quilt top. Now, this part is the tricky part because your batting wants to stick to your fabric. Just because. So you want to make sure that you pay attention to where the back is at all times. All right, batting actually does have a front and a back, or at least mine does. So this side of the batting, it feels a little more rough. This is needle punched batting, and I think it's 100% cotton. I don't think it is a polyester blend, but if I feel the front, it feels very soft. If I feel the back, it's soft, but it feels like there are little pokey holes where they needle punched this batting. The part that feels needle punched, I want to go against my backing. Does it really matter? Probably not. If I accidentally put the soft part on the backing and it looked fine, would I take it off and redo it? I would not. All right, so like I said, your batting wants to stick to your fabric, which is great unless you're not ready for it to stick to your batting. I think I've lined this up pretty well. Let me do that. Okay. So here you can see there's a little bit of my backing sticking out, but that is not a big deal. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but it looks like right here, I feel a wrinkle. So if I pull this, you can see how this is wrinkled. There are some wrinkles. We don't want any wrinkles. So we're gonna flop it around until it doesn't wrinkle. And you can feel, like right here, I can feel that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go under my batting, and here is my fabric. And I'm going to kind of hold it there and pull. So there, my wrinkle is gone. The spray that I like to use is 505 spray. I have tried the June Taylor spray, and it seems like it got my needle a little gummy. Now, I may have oversprayed. I'm just telling you what my experience has been. I have not had that issue with the 505. I know that Sulky also makes a spray, since we're doing the embroidery on the quilt. So you might want to try theirs. I haven't tried it yet. I have also tried the powder that when you iron it, so you sprinkle the powder on, you iron it, and when you iron it, it becomes adhesive. I did not have a lot of luck with that as far as gummy needles either. So that has been my experience, and what has worked best for me, 505. But again, I haven't tried Sulky yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel back my batting, and I'm going to spray, if I can get the cap off. Ugh. Try to stay on the inside of your fabric and don't get it on the floor because it will be sticky. And then I'm going to press my batting flat to the edge. Okay, I see got a couple wrinkles there. And essentially that is what this whole process is. It is getting your batting attached to your backing without having wrinkles. So here I'm going to pull my fabric, and that's going to pull out my wrinkles. You will be able to tell where you've sprayed because see how this is sticking to that? So I am just going to continue adhering my backing to my batting. When I get done getting my backing on, then we'll work on the front. Here we have the quilt top. So I'm going to lay it on the batting. Remember, this goes in. We have batting and backing that will go past where our quilt is. Now, our backing is not directional in any way, shape, or form, so we shouldn't have any issues if it isn't perfectly aligned because the backing is just the tie-dye. So we're going to drag this over and up. Now these bandanas are really thin, so I want to make sure that I don't have any creases or wrinkles. Now we are going to head to the embroidery machine and get this guy quilted. So while my embroidery machine is busy quilting my quilt for me, I am going to work on another project. This is another quick hitter. I was watching YouTube, surprise, and I saw a video by Fat Quarter Shop. I want to say Stack and Whack, that probably wasn't the name, but it featured 12 fat quarters and a pattern that I actually memorized from the video, which is saying something. So I have this fun, patriotic fabric from Moda, and it is Old Glory. I'm going to pick 12 fat quarters from this stack, and then I'm going to show you from memory how to cut them up. This is the worst part of using a fat quarter bundle, taking it apart. All right. So let's see, how many are there? I don't know. AB bundle. Oh well. I like that one. You know I'm going to like them all. Okay, so let's make a stack of the white, the red, all right, so we have 4 colorways. I need 3 from each colorway because 3 times 4 is 12. Okay, so I'm going to pick my 3 favorite. This is going to be one of my favorites. I like the polka dot. It was hard, really hard, but I did it. I'm so proud of myself. Let's iron these. Who thought you'd ever hear me say that? Here is my quilt top. Now it's not quite complete because I want a border. Since I used these strips in between the rows, I can't use them as a border. So normally I would not use a solid. Normally I would use something that reads as a solid, but I could not find anything in my stash that really went well with this. That was my normal type of solid. So I had this. It is not as dark a red as, say, this, but there are shades of this red in the darker red. Yep. This is my granddaughter who is visiting. All right, so if you look at this, even next to the darker red, I think it still looks good. Yeah, you're gonna help. You hold that up next to that, okay? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut, I'm thinking 3.5 inches, and I calculated, I'm doing this a lot, air quotes. So the length, I believe, is 84 and the width is 51. So when I add the 3.5 inches and 3.5 inches, which will be 6, then my 51 becomes 57. So I need to take that into consideration when I'm calculating how many strips I need of this fabric. Now, while I was working on this quilt, excuse me a moment, here. Okay, she's over there playing at the sewing machine. Let's hope she doesn't actually sew anything. All right, so I'm going to 3.5 inch borders, add it, and back to what I was saying, while I was working on this quilt, the quilt that I was using my embroidery machine to quilt got done. So let me show you. This guy's big for me. And then I'll show you the back, which gives you a better idea of the design. I think, anyway. So this is a big quilt. It might even, no, I don't think it's quite wide enough for my double bed in my extra room. But it doesn't matter because I plan on giving this to Project Linus. And I'm going to use, I believe, a lightweight denim to do the binding. So this one is almost done. All right, I will be back in just a moment to show you this one with the quilt top complete. My quilt top is complete, but I'm not done. I'm going to, yep, big granddaughter's here now. I am going to throw this on my long arm with some backing and some batting and finish it so that you can see the 2 quilts that I got done. I have 2 quilts that I have quilted, and all they need is the binding. This quilt, I used my embroidery machine. And let's see if you can see the pattern. It's got a really cool pattern. And that's the backing. This quilt, I took to my long arm. I did a simple meander with some gray thread, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I like a meander. And then this is the back of the quilt. Now, all I need to do is put some binding on it, and I have 2 easy quilts. They don't look that easy, but there you go. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you will subscribe if you found something that you liked and would like to come back and see. Have a great day, eat some chocolate, and be kind to everyone. Until next time, bye. Video, I am going to quilt this quilt on my embroidery sheen. My embroidery sheen. The quilt that I was using my embroidery sheen. Why do I keep saying that? This quilt I use, oops.